The 5-5 portal and the release of the 55 Metatron reversal coding. On Sunday, May 3rd, 2026, I suddenly saw a fire at Sammy's brainstem activate. And what occurred after that was very unexpected. So the fire from her brainstem, I saw it activate at the North Pole of the Earth, and it began to spiral all the way through the Earth down to the South Pole. What I felt happening was it was activating dormant pyramids somehow deep in the Earth, ones we don't even know about, covered over time. Even the ones we can see that are just remnants of mounds, stones that were once pyramids metamorphed back to earth matter. It activates histories, very old, ancient histories, from deep within the earth before it was covered over by the earth. Feels like soul memories, millions and millions years old, might be triggered. Souls that may have been here on the earth in what we call an extraterrestrial. And the pyramids transmit but also receive cosmic transmissions. And there is an Antarctica pyramid. Some of our beyond verbal autists have been functioning like pyramids because they stopped functioning, meaning that the earth couldn't receive very cosmic transmissions from very, very early in the universe. So they've been acting like pyramids here on the earth and receiving these cosmic information for many, many years, but particularly in the last 9 years or so, which made it possible, from what I have experienced and witnessed with Sammy, to be at this point that we are currently on the earth. A few years ago, I was guided by Sammy to start searching for pyramids on the earth, and this is how I came to see different pyramids around the globe. She had me go to different countries and different locations, and some of them were just like mounds or a small hill or mountain left. And there is also an Antarctica pyramid. But now back to the spiral that began on Sunday, May 3rd. On Monday, May 4th, another spiral started running, imagine perpendicularly to the equator, which created like a vertical and horizontal intersecting spirals that looks like a grid. These spirals and the fire were activated by the amber flame dragons, which I came across a few years ago. These amber flame dragons are from the solar rishi, is what my inner sense said. So please see a link below to read a bit about the solar rishi. The other significant thing happening with these activations is the dissolution of the Metatronic 55 reversal overlay on the planet. You can read a little bit from Ascension Glossary about this as well. The significance of this can't be overstated. The human template was inverted to operate as a 10-dimensional human instead of the 12D human template. We've been talking about this in our Patreon group for the Cosmic members. There were various ways this was accomplished. And they were accomplished by multidimensional fallen archons, I'll just call them, and entities who built this fallen matrix. Now, the reasons how that happened and why are varied. There are many different angles to look at that, but for today's purposes, it's just about the 55 Metatron reversal that is dissolving. So a few of the consequences of this reversal system is that it kept us looping in 3D consciousness. It made it difficult to completely clear emotional body, and it facilitated diseases and also enabled us to get implants and entity attachments. This was so for a fallen system to be siphoned by these multidimensional archons and entities who lost their connection to the original source. So the dissolution of the Metatron 55 reversal grid, which affects our connection with the organic fifth dimension, is significant. I suspect that it's this overlay that also kept the pyramids from functioning coherently. As this 55 reversal grid dissolves, the traditional Metatron's cube many have seen and who have been working with it will not function anymore and may actually prevent people from truly opening into the 11th and 12th dimensions, which are beginning to open up for the organic 12-dimensional human template, since it is still coded to run reversal, meaning the Metatron's fallen cube. If you want more information about this, I just did a presentation in our March 17th, 2026 Patreon live meeting. The fruit of life in the fallen Metatron's cube is off. It cuts us off from feeling the earth and all life on earth. Sammy began showing me this actually in 2017, and she showed me what the actual full fruit of life should look like. So the correct flower of life from which the Metatron's cube, the correct flower of life, the flower of life we've seen is distorted. The petals are cut and the body of it was rotated 30 degrees to the left. Let me backtrack here. So we've been operating on a cut flower of life, a distorted flower of life, which Metatron's cube is connected to. The fallen Metatron's cube is connected to the distorted flower of life, which some call the daisy of death. So the petals were cut and the body of the incorrect flower of life was rotated 30 degrees to the left. And it supported a bi-wave polarized physical architecture to run 10-dimensional reversal coding to be siphoned. The electron to proton spin ratios were completely distorted. to make this possible and for our energy to be siphoned. So I was shown this a few years ago, but couldn't see the rest of it until today when the 55 reversal coding began to dissolve. So now I sense my eyes are adjusting, everything is adjusting. The vagus nerve and its connection to the higher realms I can feel are adjusting. There's a lot of perceptual awareness that is going to be corrected from this. So spherical technology from the crystal spiral. Now I've talked about this as well, and other people like Ashiana Dean and Lisa Renee and others who are in alignment with those bodies of work. We know that they talk a lot about this crystal spiral instead of the Fibonacci that comes from the distorted flower of life. So I'm seeing today that the crystal spiral activates the correct flower of life. With the dissolution of the 55 reversal, I'm seeing the crystal spiral from the lotus of life behind the corrected flower of life with its petals and rotated into correct position. It's spiraling behind the organic flower of life, and the crystal spiral is encoded to keep us connected to the realms of eternity, so that when we leave the body and leave the universal time matrix, we return to the realms of eternity, because essentially we have not, and we have been in a bi-wave system of karma where we keep coming back even though we maybe not need to at all, or that we actually completed all the lessons that we, quote, came in to receive, unquote, but we haven't been leaving the universal time matrix. So at the moment, I'm seeing the lotus of life behind the corrective flower of life with the petals that activates the correct Merkaba field as well. So if you're reading this on our Patreon, then you will see the images of the correct flower of life with the petals that shows the Merkaba field. The spherical spiral codes corrects how energy moves in our bodies, because it moves in spiral patterns, much like how the universe energies move and flow to form galaxies through these spiraling vortexes, and they connect massive suns and suns and suns in a cosmic harmonic dance. And this is how energy is supposed to move in our bodies. If any of you have been working with fascia, you might know that fascia, the energy of fascia moves in spirals. And so this is all part of the organic system to remain connected to source outside of time and space. The corrected flower of life enables the correct flow and spin of quantum and subatomic particles. Like I said just several sentences before, when the flower of life, its petals cut and rotated 30 degrees, it had a detrimental impact on the way the electrons and protons spin together. My guess is that the atom too is supposed to have a proper spiraling motion as well. And this supports us to materialize into a form, the form of a human body, which is macrocosmic, and what I also call, well, Sammy and I call, a quantacosmic body, because we are quantum to form and materialize this body. So, is the crystal spiral and lotus of life meant to operate on its own, separate from the organic flower of life, as it's been presented by other esoteric information, which seem to be mostly correct? But I don't think so, because we're making a transition from one bi-wave inverted template to the organic template of the multidimensional cosmic human. And again, until these overlays started to be removed, we couldn't really see the whole picture and the whole story. My sense, though, is that we'll be continuing to work with this correct flower of life for, I don't know, many years, maybe until our bodies leave the 3D density as the Earth is doing. That part is difficult to know at this moment, but it does feel like we'll be working with this corrected flower of life as we continue this ascension process out of 3D. And how each person experiences this, or how the outer world will respond, is unknown to me at this time. I think we can expect that there will be a backlash from people in the outer world, people who are attached to fallen systems, people who have been operating and thriving on these inverted systems of siphoning, because this siphoning system runs rampant through our economic system in particular. But I do feel like then this dissolution will support our ability to redirect the wealth on the earth, redistribute it. Because remember, the earth and Gaia and the multidimensional earth is coming online, and the law of abundance is the dominant spiraling force in the universe, and how energy again moves, and the finances, whether it's digital, crypto, paper, it's energy. It's about energy exchanges, and it's about being in alignment with how universal energy flows, which is more than our physical body, but it's in our connection with the planet. It's in our connection with each other. It's in our connection with the foundations of systems that we co-create. So this is a very important day. The other aspect is how each person is going to experience this is unknown. I think the way to think about May is to watch and observe and notice in our bodies how the energy flow is shifting, how it is directing us and redirecting us to people, places, groups, even that we are working within and with. It's a time for adjustments and to bring clarity. Um, and as I've learned from Sammy over the last 10 years working with her, there's usually more to be revealed and refinements to this process. So, in other words, just follow the bouncing ball, but follow it in alignment with your soul and what you're here to co-create. And like I said like I like to say to our Patreon group, and I know many others say this too, but it's all about how the soul mission, your purpose, was imprinted into you, into us. And it's also genetic. It's our natal chart. It's genetic, which is how you get your gifts and your talents. You can't explain why you know what you know. You can't explain why you can do something that looks difficult to someone else. It's just your design. And when I say soul mission, it's not necessarily about, right, a soul quote contract, because it's like the contract is written into you, if you want to call it that. And the karmic debt is over. We're out of karma. So it's about dissolving past timelines and stepping on to the new timeline. And I understand that there are forces out there, negative entities, that are still running around on the earth that are trying to influence you, trying to influence leaders, and even within spiritual groups that are trying to pull us back into this reversal system, which is only meant to siphon energy from us. And we'll witness still other people caught in that game, and until they can see it for themselves, it's difficult to point it out to them, I feel. Now, if you come across somebody who suddenly becomes open to a different way of looking at things, by all means, we help them. But it's about knowing what our fight is and how much energy we give to dying systems, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So if you want to know more and work with some of the meditations that we've been doing to facilitate this transition, you can join us on Patreon as a Cosmic member to get the live updates and monthly energy processes. You can also join for free or as a love donor. For other bonuses, like the opportunity to join in live interviews and other sometimes live meditations that I've been doing, especially with some key images to explain what those images are about and what the coding in them are about. So if you're interested, then please join us. In the meantime, Sammy and I hope that this message is helpful to you. I feel like she endorsed the message because she could feel me as I was writing my notes, and she comes over to me and looked at me in my eyes, gave me a big smile and big hugs. So the body of today's message, I feel, is accurate. And regarding the links that I share, I know the Ascension Glossary is complex. Please read it from just an energetic perspective and take what resonates and then discard the rest, as they say, or put it on a shelf and say, I don't understand that part. Because the mental mind, and the way that we've been conditioned, can only understand so much about the vastness of the universe, which we are just really beginning to open up to in mass. So, thank you very much for listening.